यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषद्भ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्र वेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with a Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita. So today we are going to have the summary of 15th chapter. So now this 15th chapter belongs to the third Shatkam. What is that third Shatkam? Third Shatkam means in which there are 6 chapters, from 13 to 18, and which also deals about the equation between Ishvara and Jiva. Jiveshvara Aikya Swarupam. This content is a very unique content. Bhagavad Gita, which contains 18 chapters, we divide these 18 chapters into 3 portions. The first one, first 6th chapter is called Prathama Shatkam, which deals about an individual personality. All the subject matters, about the body, mind and sense complex, they categorize in so many divisions, 3 into 3 or 6, 5 divisions. Like, this body was divided into 3 categories: Thola Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. Like, gross body, subtle body and causal body. Then this 3 Sharira has got 3 kinds of experiences. What is that? Waking state experiences. If anybody says, hello sir, good morning, you have to repeat, good morning. Then you have to be aware about the world. Now you are in the waking state and me too in the waking state. Doesn't matter about the time, whether it is day or night. If you are awakened, that is known as a waking state. Now, Sthula Sharira has to be experienced for the waking state experience, because the world and our Sharira has to be experienced. The conjunction of both experience are known as worldly waking state experience. So we remove the worldly waking state experience, only we say waking state experience. And you and me and everyone, we experience that waking state experience. And the dream state experience is said to be a subtle body experience. In the dream, you only experience the world which is experienced in the subtle form. Therefore, the subtle body is connected to the dream world. Then the causal body is connected to the sleeping state in which you don't know anything. Means we are completely kept as an ignorant personality. All these things cannot be denied. So when Shastra says you have 3 kinds of experiences, 3 kinds of bodies are used for it, you cannot deny. Then the same, 3 bodies and 3 experiences together have been divided into 5 categories: Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, Koshaha. All koshas. Annamaya means what? The Sthula Shariram is called as Annamaya. That which grows because of the food, nourished by the food. Therefore, it is known as Annamayam. Then Pranamayam, Manomayam, Vijnanamayam, these three divisions belongs to the subtle body. All these 5 pranas are known as Pranamaya Kosha. What is Pranamaya Sharira? Pranamaya means all 5 kinds of pranas, that which gives energy to our indriyas. Okay? We can connect with Karmendriyas even to Jnanendriyas. Now usually Pranamaya Kosha is connected with Karmendriyas, organs of action. Okay? Then the next one is Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya Kosha means what? A faculty which is called mind. That mind and Jnanendriyas, the organs of knowledge through which we get the data of the world. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, all these 5 senses. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandham. Those are all the knowledge. Sound, then form, colors, then we call it smell, taste, then we call it Shitoshna Rupena, the cold and heatness. This knowledge are received through the Jnanendriyas. So mind and these Jnanendriyas are known as Manomaya Kosha. Buddhi and Jnanendriyas known as Vijnanamaya Kosha. So that which our consciousness, which is endowed with bliss, is known as Anandamaya Kosha. So all these divisions were told in the first 6 chapters we have completed long ago. And in the next 6 chapters, I mean in Dvitiya Shatkam, the chapters number from 7 to 12, we saw who is God, how to realize the God. And there are 3 kinds of steps were introduced. First, we have to understand God as a creator. The world is created. That is considered as a first level of understanding, okay, in which you can worship a God, you can invoke the God in a deity. Then the second is what? This expanding our understand in order to understand the God. The second level understanding, God alone has been evolved as the world. That is the second level understanding. So once you get that understanding, your responses towards the world, reactions towards the world, ideology of the world, everything changes. Wherever you see only God. A fantastic method to get the spiritual progress. Then the final understanding. So God alone exists, the world is not. God and world is one and the same. Like jewels, ring, bangles and chain, all of them, they appear as though different in the form, but all of them are nothing but gold. That is the final understanding of the God. Now in the first 6 chapters, the Jiva was introduced. In the next 6 chapters, Paramatma, Ishvara was introduced. From chapter number 13 to 18, equation is discussed well. That equation which we began from the chapter number 13, there we saw as a Kshetra Kshetrajnyor Vibhaga. The divisions of Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the similarities of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. We did a thorough discussion and inquiry on this both subject, Jiva and Ishvara. The subject matter which began from 13th chapter, it comes to an end in the 15th chapter. Therefore, 15th chapter is the climax of the 3rd Shatkam. And hereafter, what are we going to see? Just hereafter, we are going to enjoy the knowledge by learning so many varieties of transactions, by learning by the nature with the visions of Atma Jnana. That we are going to see. Okay. Now the summary of the 15th chapter begins. The chapter begins with the description of Samsara Vriksha. In order to understand the need of inquiring about Samsara Vriksha to be understood, let us discuss a little bit, 5 minutes. We can have a clear vision of this Samsara Vriksha. The world gives 2 kinds of enjoyments, okay? Pain and pleasure. Now here world means what? Including our body, including our experiences. Everything is said as the world. World means that which exists in the form of experiences. Okay, all those experiences can be divided into two categories. What are they? Pain and pleasure. That's all. Now the human being, we are interested only to encounter joyful experiences, happy experiences. We don't want to have the painful experiences. In simple way, we want to be happy. We are not expecting to be unhappy. We don't want to have pain. But the nature of the world, the pain and pleasures is the both side of a coin. Like world means these two things will be there. You cannot separate them. If there is a happiest experience, definitely there is going to be the painful experience. Just let us think from the childhood what we were looking for. The survival is only to chase the happiness, to drop the unhappiness. Making effort to get happy, making effort to escape from unhappy. We call it life. We are not going to only make the effort to survive. We want to survive happily. That is what our motto is. Constantly we are making effort to escape from the pain to attain the happiness. Are we able to succeed in that? Answer is no. Why, sir? You want to get happiness? One should get happiness. Is there anybody that who got 100% happiness, who didn't have a percentage, a single percentage of the sadness? Where there is a money, the health cannot be found. If at all you find health and money together, the mode means the mentality is not proper, psychological things are not proper. If a person has got money, health and a proper mood, the environment won't help. If at all he has everything, it won't last forever. There is a fear to lose. The enjoyment, when you enjoy, we do have the fear to lose any enjoyment. The enjoyment which begins from eating small mithai, means small chocolate in the young age, to enjoy in the 5-star hotel or in 7-star hotel in the adult age, and after having a beneficial and successful business. All enjoyments, and enjoyments through relationship, enjoyments through eating things, the enjoyments through visiting so many places, all kinds of enjoyments. It needs all conditions. You have to be healthy, you should have money, you should have age, you should have people around you, you should have good source, so through which you can earn more money. So every condition must be there to get a proper happiness. Otherwise, you will get a vague, means a 70%, 60%, 50% happiness. Sometimes there are happiness, so which you start enjoying, immediately it vanishes, like a mirage water. Now the fact is, world consists of both happiness and pain, pleasure and pain. We want to reject the pain and we want to catch hold only the happiness, which is not at all possible. Then what should we do? That's what our effort, which is not possible. Then what else the solution is there? Yes, there is a solution. Yes, you should not depend on both. Or you should accept the pleasure, at the same time you have to accept the pain too. Either you have to accept both or you have to reject both of them. These are the solution. Either you have to accept them both or you have to reject them both. But you know one thing? The mind is so weak, the human mind which is so weak, it cannot accept the both, it cannot reject the both. Still it will chase the happiness, it wants to leave the unhappiness, means painful experiences. That is known as samsara. Inability to accept, inability to give. That is what samsara. That samsara vriksha, not understanding the reality. The only happiness cannot be achieved through the world. Every object consists both pain and pleasure. The same object which you love, in future you will hate. Or you will continue with mixed of both. Therefore, married life, not only married life, my dear, life of a bachelor and life of a sannyasi. Everything, sannyasi lives intelligently. What I mean to say, when a sannyasi has completed Vedanta, then he can enjoy, because life is both. Life has both. What? Pain and pleasure. He is able to reject them both. A jnani who is able to reject them both. If you want to accept both, you accept both, and with the detachment, you enjoy the pleasure and pain. That is what known as the life of Janaka. Janaka Maharaja, who lived in that way, karma yogis. These lifestyles which are prescribed by the Shastra. Either you have to accept them both, or you can leave them both. The Shastra gives strength to accept them both. At the same time, the Shastra gives the strength to leave them both. How can Shastra give both? Because both can be achieved by one achievement, that is known as Brahma Vidya. Then what? The person will select them both, or the same person may drop the both. That's his choice. He knows how to drop, and he knows how to accept them both. If at all he accepts, he will do and he will live a proper life. If at all he drops, he will live proper life. Is it like a mystic, isn't it? No. He won't hang over. That is, hanging over is known as samsaram. That samsara vriksha is introduced in first 2.5 words. There are only 5 topics which are discussed in this chapter. The first is called samsara varnanam. The samsara varnanam to be described. So varnanam means description. The samsara vriksha, the tree of a samsara, must be described. Otherwise, we don't know the situation, the conditions which the human being has. We have to realize about the nature of the world. Every object has got both pleasure and pain. Then the next is moksha sadhanani. So how to get rid of this samsara vriksha? That's what is called moksha sadhanani. We can say the spiritual disciplines leading to the liberation. Then the third topic, brahmanaha sarvatmakatvam. So let us go one by one. So samsara vriksha was explained, beautifully explained, Otherwise, I'll do one thing. I'll name all the topics first, then we will go one by one. The first one is the description of samsara vriksha. Secondly, Bhagavan introduced the sadhanas, means for moksha, means to get rid of samsara vriksha. That's what called moksha. It was the second topic. Then the third topic is the brahmanaha sarvatmakatvam, understanding the Brahman, elaborate way, the way by which we can get the liberation. Then the fourth one is the meaning of Purushottama, the Brahmanaha Purushottamatvam. So understanding Brahman as a Purushottama. Then fifth is Brahmanaha Jnanaphalam, Brahma Jnanaphalam, the fruit of the knowledge which is known as Atma Jnanam or Brahma Jnanam or Brahmatma Aikya Jnanam. Okay, the self-knowledge or knowledge of the Supreme or the knowledge of the equation between Jivatma and Paramatma. These are all the 5 topics which are discussed as the concluding of the subject matter which is known as equation. So now we will begin again. Samsara vriksha is described, how it is described as a tree in Mundakopanishad and in Kathopanishad. In those 2 Upanishads, the same description is given. Dvasu Paruna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vriksham Parishasvajate Tayoranna Pippalam Swadvati Adashnan Anyo Abhichakashiti. That is the mantra in which a tree is introduced, the tree which is with fruits called Samsara Vriksha. Two pigeons also are introduced. Among that, one pigeon which eats all the fruits, another one just witnesses that eater of the fruit. That's all. This is the description from Mundakopanishad. The best description ever in Upanishad. This body is the tree. There are two kinds of consciousness. One is the witness consciousness, which we call it Sakshi. Another one is Ahankaraha, the ego, which enjoys the fruit of Karma Phala. Now the fruits are which nothing but called Karma Phalas. That tree which has got different fruits. Means those fruits are the impact of two kinds of Papa and Punya. The Punya is due to Vedas. Therefore, the all branches and leaves are given as the description. They are Vedas. And the fruit, that fruit is enjoyed by only the Ahankara. That Sakshi is not becoming an eater. Now that Sakshi is to be realized. The realization that I am Sakshi. I am not the enjoyer of the fruit. I am the witness who enjoys, who witnesses the enjoyer. That is the Brahmajnanam. Now, so in that mantra, it is explained with both consciousness and tree. Here Bhagavan says, only the impact of the tree which causes for samsara. In order to slay that, we should have the Brahmajnana. In order to gain the Brahmajnana, from verse number 2.5 means from the second half of the third verse, Bhagavan brings to describe up to verse number 6, what are the means to get this Brahmajnana. Now he says, Vairagyam, then Sadgunaha, then Sharanagatihi, Brahma Vichara. These four things are called the proper means for the knowledge. Vairagya means what? Vairagya means complete maturity. Not becoming a victim of Tamoguna and Rajoguna. Now we do have the knowledge of gunas, isn't it? See that tamasic, rajasic desires will collapse us. Tamasic desires means what? The person always wants to go against the dharma. If at all he wants to listen the music, he will listen the music which spoil his own health. If you want to perform a puja, he will perform puja in order to kill somebody else. In order to destroy the world, he will do whatever he wants. That is tamasic desire, not victimized by, because mind is the place where we can find three kinds of gunas. Therefore, a mind and buddhi which is trained to not become victim for tamasic attitude and nature. Then the next one, rajasic desire and nature and activity, not becoming victim. When somebody says, you are a useless idiot, he will start working for that in order to prove that he was not an idiot. Rajasic, he wants to establish his name in this world. He wants to achieve the name and fame. Again, it is nonsense. It will bring more complicated experiences to him. Therefore, not being victimized by that attitude and activities and desires, only sticking with Sattva Guna is known as Vairagya. That only will come when you are joined with the Sat Sangha. Therefore, Satsanga, wherever the Sad Vishayas are discussed, inquired, that is known as Satsanga. Acharya said, Satsangatve Nitsangatvam, Nitsangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalitatvam, Nischalitatve Jivan Mukti. Satsanga means what? where in which group Sad Vastu means that ultimate reality is being sought or inquired. Then what about going to the temples? Is it not satsanga? You are going to temple to only have the contact with Ishvara. That is also it's called satsanga, sadvishayena, sangaha. So you are going to be endowed with, you are going to create the contact with the Ishvara. Therefore, that is also satsanga. That also helps us to make or elevate our personality. Therefore, this satsanga, vairagya means not becoming victim of our own tamasic and rajasic nature, and be endowed with nitya, not with anitya, being endowed with eternal things, doing the activities, committed to those activities which will lead to the ultimate. Asat oma sadgamaya, tamas oma jyotirgamaya. Let me be accompanied only with Sat, dropping Asat. Asat means what? Non-eternal things. Not giving priority to the desire of the body, to the nature of the body, to the appearance of the body. Not giving priority to the world. At the same time, not negating them. Not like hating them. Just becoming mature, not depending on the worldly things, just having pursuing for the knowledge. It's called vairagya. Then sadgunas will come. Then we will get sharanagati. We will come to know how to do surrender to the Lord. Then we will get a guru, shravana, manana, nididhyasanam. Everything will begin. Finally, we will reach the ultimate, which is known as Brahma Vichara. That is the only means. Then Bhagavan taught about Brahmanaha Sarvatmakatvam. That Brahman is explained as everything. Everything is nothing but Brahman alone. That Brahmanaha Sarvatmakatvam, which is explained beautifully, fantastically, spectacularly. That we will enjoy in the next episode. See you tomorrow. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.